Okay. Okay, yesterday we left off with explain the Kedushin, the Edison. Now you come to the second, so we explained, you have the Eidim, you make sure the ring belongs to the Chassan, you make sure it's worth the Shava Pruta, you're sure it's worth X amount of money, it belongs to the Chassan, the witnesses are kosher witnesses, they watch the ring giving and so on. So now you come to part two. Part two of the wedding is what's called the Chuppah, the Nisuin, that allows them to be married. So, what's done in Ashkenazic, well, not really, all over, the custom is you read the Ksubah. Why do you read the Ksubah? There's only one simple reason why you read the Ksubah. You don't have to read the Ksubah. It's a financial document, which is the chassan's responsibilities to the wife. So there's really no need to read it. The reason why we read the Ksubah at a wedding is to make a break between part one and part two. Yesterday we learned part one used to be 12 months earlier, and part two, with the 12 months later, they got married. Now we do it all together under the Chuppah. So to make a separation between the Kedushin, or the Edison, and the Nisuin, so what do you make a break? You read the Ksubah in its original Aramaic text. Then you go into what's called the Shava Brachas. The Shava Brachas are 7 brachas. The first one is a very priyagofen. Now, there's different opinions, by the way. There are opinions that hold you shouldn't split the 7 blessings. One person should make all of them. Some people say you can break them, divide them into 3. Some people, and there's a menig in most places today, at least 6, or even if you need to, you can even do 7. Meaning like this. The first bracha is not really a bracha of Sheva brachas, it's very priyagofen. So many people like to put the first 2 brachas together. Very priyagofen and Yetzer Shako Baruch Chveide. Okay, those 2 brachas go together. If somebody needs to separate, they have to give out too many honors, then they can split the 2 Beri Priyagofen and Shahako Baruch Chveide. Then you have the 3rd, 4th, 5th is...
But we're doing on the Chuppah 2 Beri Priyagofen. One before the...
One you do by Edison,
and the other one by...
and that the Chassan and Kala drink from. And then you do Nisuin again Beri Priyagofen. Now, in many places, in fact in most places, they have 1 cup of wine for part 1 and a second cup of wine for part 2. 1 cup for Erison to make a Beri Priyagofen with the first bracha, and then they have a 2nd cup for the second part for the Shava brachas, for the Nisuin. Why do they have it like that? Because you don't bundle mitzvahs together. There's a Gemara, in Eisim mitzvahs, chavilas, you don't bundle mitzvahs together, like you don't join mitzvahs together, because then it looks like it's a burden that you just want to get rid of it. So many people hold that because Kedushin is one thing, and Nisuin is the second thing, you should have 2 separate cups of wine. In our circles, the Rebbe writes, our custom is that we use the same cup for both. Not only do we use the same cup of both, most places they have a silver Kiddush cup, for each one. And then afterwards they break a glass at the end. In our circles, we use the same glass for part 1, and again the same glass part 2, and that glass that we made the brachas over is the glass that the chassan breaks at the end of the chuppah. That's our custom, not only Chabad, but we don't use 2 cups, number 1, and we don't use silver cups under the, not that you're not allowed, I'm just saying what our custom is. Then you have 1 cup of wine for, it's not a problem because you refill the cup, and if you refill the cup, it's like a new cup anyway, it's not the same cup. So you refill the cup. So you have 1 cup, or by us the same cup for the first part of the wedding, Kedushin, Edison, and then you have the 2nd cup for Berchus Nisuin. And what?
My first cup, after the rabbi makes 2 brachas,
Chassan and Kala drink.
He doesn't drink with it?
No.
Do they make their own offering, or?
No. if the rabbi knows what he's doing, he tells the chosin and kala before he makes the bracha, you'll listen to my bracha and answer amen and have in mind to be yetz the bracha. I mean, even without that, you're making bracha for them, so they're having in mind that they need to be yetz the bracha.
And their parents, if they drink,
They don't drink it then. At the end of the chuppah, when you finish the last brachas, we'll get to there, and they drink again from the wine, so normally it's not an issue. You drink a little bit from the kiddush cup, and then you take a glass and you break it. But we break that glass. So that glass has to be emptied in order to break it. You can't break a glass with wine in it. It's going to get everybody's clothing dirty. So what you do is you have people finishing it. So whoever wants, sometimes a young kid, a bracha, or whatever, wants to get married, they think it's a segula to get married. So if one, they drink it, but what they should do, those people, by the way, those people that drink the wine, they have to make a Beit Priyagaf by themselves. They weren't jaitzah with the Beit Priyagafen that they made for the chosin and kala. That's number one. And secondly, they shouldn't make the bracha loud, because then it looks like you're adding another bracha to the sheva brachas. So they make the bracha quietly, because you have 7 brachas. You don't have 8 brachas. So you have 7 brachas, and then somebody drinks up the wine, and then they break the foot. They put it into a glass, into a paper or whatever, and they break the glass.
But the rabbi in the Sunday tradition himself doesn't drink any of the
No.
bracha?
No.
Because he only made it for them.
He made it for them, and he doesn't drink from the wine. Because the bracha, and that you're allowed to do. You're allowed to make a berachos, because the berachos hana of Beit Priyagafim, which is for benefit, for enjoying, is part of the mitzvah. So therefore, he doesn't have to drink from it. As long as somebody drinks from it, it's okay.
Are we making
You have a similar din, by the way. What happens if somebody makes kiddush and they can't drink wine? They can't drink the wine, just for whatever reason. So they make kiddush, and somebody else drinks the wine, but they don't have to make a new Beit Priyagafim. They were yaitzer, even though the guy that made kiddush didn't, or Havdalah for that matter, didn't drink from the wine. It's still a good Beit Priyagafim. What?
it's not better for anyone to drink or kiss the first cup like a Levachim?
we make a shachian on the chatan does. We make shachian on the
Chatan doesn't make a shachianu. By the Svardim, they use a talit. Let me explain what goes on. After the Sheva brachas, okay, the chosin drinks, kala drinks, you finish the cup in our circles, then the chosin breaks the cup. Then everybody says mazel tov. Now it's joyous time. Before we said the chuppah is very serious, now it becomes a joyous time. Then in Ashkenazic circles, they go into a separate room, the chosin and kala, and it's called the cheder yichud. The cheder yichud, according to Rishonim, Ashkenazi sheposkim, is the actual kinyan that the chosin and kala are considered married by being alone in that room. So the custom is, in our circles, the yichud room is a room that has to be a closed room. The witnesses usually go into the room and check and make sure there's nothing else there, no other side doors or whatever. Our custom is to put a silver spoon on the threshold. Chosin walks in first, then with his right foot over the spoon, then the kala walks with the right foot over the spoon, take away the spoon, and then usually the custom is the parents go in, they serve him a drink, they give him a bracha, and then they go out and they stay in the room yichud with the 2 witnesses outside the room. How long, and different customs do different things. In our circles, basically, at least what we do is in 7 minutes. Some people do 5 minutes, some people do 9 minutes, but in our circles we do 7 minutes of yichud, and that actually is the main chuppah, so to speak, of the way the chosin and kala acquire each other. By the Svardim, they have a different level of yichud. What does yichud means? Being alone. After reading of the Ksubah, before they do Sheva brachas, the chosin takes his talis that he's going to be wearing. He makes the bracha shachianu, Okay, if it's at night, you can't make a bracha on the talis. He makes a bracha shechianu, and then he puts the talis around the chosin and kala. Okay, that's if you see in Sephardic, religious Sephardic wedding, he put the talis around both. In Sephardic tradition, that is the chuppah, that is the yichud. By Sephardim, they don't have a separate yichud room. The yichud is under the chuppah when they wrap a talis. So then the chosin makes a shechianu for the talis. But for the wedding itself, you don't make a shechianu.
When they do the yichud, the Ashkenazim, is there any kind of touching each other at that time?
They could.
Do they, or is it?
That's up to them.
It's not this, nothing is that.
It's nothing mandatory. The main thing is that they're in a room alone with two witnesses outside testifying. So it's the same two witnesses that watch the ring giving. Usually, you could change it, but the best thing is you have the same witnesses that witness the ring giving will go into the room. Now there are people that have a minig, but also it's not our minig, and it says, the Rama says you don't do it, other poskim say you don't do it. Some places when the chosin is about to put the ring on the finger, they pick up the veil that the chosin should see it's the kala and the witnesses should see it's the kala. Maybe they did a love on Rochalea switch. But the Rama writes, we don't do it because it's not modest, you don't, whatever.
What's the significance of the silver spoon on the threshold?
Silver spoon, probably silver is chesed, gold is gevura, chesed is ahava. Okay, so the wedding is ahava of the chosin to the kala and the kala to the chosin. So therefore, they use a silver spoon that they walk over. The union of a keli, a spoon is a keli. It's not a stam, a silver piece of silver. It's a keli. That's a kishmiya keli for the yahava. There's something very important I want to say, which people sometimes are unaware of. In America, they have what's called a double ring ceremony. Double ring ceremony is, because in America everything has to be equality, so the chosin gives the kala ring, and the kala gives the chosin a ring. That's called the double ring ceremony. It's very big, even in the Jewish circles, not necessarily the religious circles, but in the Jewish circles at the time of the chuppah, because what do you mean you're taking her? That she has to take you too. It has to be equal. The problem with that poses a very, very big halachic issue. What's the issue? Because kedusha means the husband is taking the wife as his wife. She is not taking him as the husband. She's marrying him. But halachically, the Torah says, ki yikach ish isha. The Torah says when the man takes the woman. So the man has to take the woman. So therefore, in fact, so what happens if they dafka want to do a double ring ceremony? But sometimes, if they agree to it, at the end of the chuppah, the chuppah is over. That's it, the marriage is done. They didn't break the glass yet, but they're breaking the glass just to remember, the destruction of the Bais Hamikdash. So then, sometimes they'll allow, depending on the situation, for the kala to give the chosin a ring. But she can't say, Arei atam mukudesh li b'tabazu. That would invalidate the chuppah, the kedushin. She could say, Ani l'daydi v'daydi li. It's a pasuk in Shir Shim, a very nice Jew, Shlomo Malach said it. They could say, Ani l'daydi v'daydi li. But if the woman would say, Arei atam mukudesh li b'tabazu k'das Moshe Yisrael, that is a deal breaker that an Orthodox rabbi cannot do the wedding.
It doesn't mean anything if it's not according to halacha.
No, but that means in her mind she's not being taken by him. She has to know. That's why it says in halacha when the chosin says what does she do? She's silent. She doesn't say yes, dear, yeah.
That's the last time she's silent.
Well, why doesn't it says dafke in halacha? Dafke b'shtika. because it's the acceptance, the chassan is accepting the kala as a wife. There's no action from her part, because halachically, if she's giving him a ring, that means in her mind, just like he took me, I took him, so therefore he's not really taking her.
What if in her mind it's just a present? Like, I got
So do it in the yichud room.
Even in the most progressive circles and women's league advocates, you never had a situation where a woman goes and asks the hand of a man. It's not there yet.
A lot you know. Soon, the way this country is going, when they're going to allow BST, they're going to allow people to marry their dogs and animals, you'll see they'll be similar to that also. That's the way the country's going. What do you think? In a few years, give it a few years, we'll see what happens. But that's a very important, that's a deal breaker, so to speak, in doing a chuppah, because the chassan is taking the kala cannot be taking the chassan. So if it's done all the way at the end, officially, the wedding is over, so now you want to do something, you could do it. But sometimes, it's another interesting thing. Some people want to make a chuppah, so they'll say the brachas in Hebrew, and then they want somebody to say the brachas in English. So that you're not allowed to do. Because a bracha in English is also a bracha. And then you're saying brachas in vain. You're saying 7 brachas in vain. So you can only do 7 brachas, not 14 brachas.
They do it in English?
Huh?
They do it like...
Only English?
I can't read Hebrew,
Listen, there's something called tradition. Let me ask you a question, okay, it's later. Can you have a shul that davens only in English? The chazan goes over to Yamid, instead of saying Asher Yeshu Yitzchak, the fortune is the one that lives in your house, the prayer of God, may the name of God be glorified. Huh? Halachically, can an individual daven in English? Yes. Is it appropriate for a minyan to the whole service in English? No, it's not the Orthodox way of doing things. There's tradition, there's minhag. You don't do, those things in English.